10 footballers who went from heroes to villains. Football is one of the biggest sporting activities in the world. It is filled with all the glamour, adrenaline, rush, intrigues, and the most rewarding lifestyle anyone can dream of. However, as the footballing world is filled with the stars in the past and present, some have gone from being heroes to villains in just a twinkling of an eye. Human attention is as flickering as it comes, and in this video, we will give you many instances of this. We will show some of the biggest football stars who went from heroes to villains while dazzling their teams. But before we continue, click on the subscribe button and the notification bell icon to ensure you never miss any of our content. With that out of the way, let's get started, shall we? Football is an entertaining and engaging sport. For the fans, sometimes it means more than a game. The game has seen different stars loved and adored by their fans, and due to their actions and sometimes circumstances beyond their control, they became hated and reviled by the same fans. As the saying goes, sometimes if you stay long enough, the hero becomes the villain. Maradona. This video would only be complete with paying homage to football's ultimate villain, the man, the myth, the legend, Maradona. From bored training sessions and fights with fans and managers to reports of drug abuse. In short, Maradona did it all. But this all came to a head when he joined Barcelona from Boca Juniors. In Catalan, he developed a love for high-grade cocaine despite his excellent performances, especially highlighted by his debut goal. Not long after, he lost the adulation of Barcelona fans due to his lazy attitude. His training performances, injuries, and all his actions off the pitch. A final performance, which was more likely the nail in the coffin, was in the Copa del Rey final, where he knocked an opposition player unconscious and started what would be a massive brawl. He was hated so much that he was sold off to Napoli. But Maradona, being the legend that he is, we all know how that fairy tale ended, don't we? Cristiano Ronaldo. The Portuguese superstar is arguably the greatest player to play football. Look away, Messi fans. He made his mark in Manchester United when he won the Ballon d'Or at 23 and sold for a world record fee to Madrid at 24. Here he blossomed and won 4 more Champions League titles and 4 more Ballon d'Or awards. Nevertheless, in the end, he was sold off unceremoniously after being seen as surplus to requirements. Reuniting with his boyhood club in 2021, the commentary by Jim Beglin was legendary and read, "Beyond imagery and forgery, CR7 reunited." Well, that didn't go well for long, did it? By the second season, he was already being reviled by fans and seen as dragging the team back. The coach, Ten Hag, benched him, and after his display, left the stadium before the match ended against Tottenham. He was dropped and got himself a massive payout to the Saudi League. So much for a reunion, if you ask us. Mason Greenwood. Young, handsome, and shoots rockets with both feet. Mason Greenwood was one of the biggest youngsters in the world and was loved by Manchester United fans. He seemed to have the world at his feet, and well, what could go wrong? Well, as we found out, a lot. In January 2022, reports of accusations, rape, abuse, and controlling behavior came out against him, and he was arrested and later dropped from the Manchester United team. Even though the charges against him were later dropped, a report of him being reintegrated into the team has been reported. The deed has been done, and many Manchester United fans hate him now and want him gone. Mason Mount, Chelsea's player of the season, 2 seasons in a row, an assist in a Champions League final. Mount was loved by Chelsea fans and seen as one of Cobham's finest products. He is a good player who seemed to always play with his heart on his sleeve. Most of the Chelsea fanbase loved him and wanted him to stay with the team for a long time. I mean, he even got a banner. Well, that didn't last forever. After a poor season for both the player and the team, he left the club for hated rivals Manchester United, and well, as you can expect, instantly Chelsea fans hated him. The comments he made during the transfer saga didn't help too. If you've listened and followed us up to this point, come on, you know this channel is fun. Click on the subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you do not miss a thing. Paul Pogba. Released from Manchester United after coming through their academy in 2012, Pogba was desperate to prove the doubters wrong and make his mark, and he joined Juventus on a free transfer. Numerous domestic trophies followed, then an appearance in FIFA World 11 and the UEFA Team of the Year. Manchester United was made to eat the humble pie and had to break the world record transfer fee to bring the talented youngster back to the theatre of dreams. Anyways, he was far from a rosy reunion. Injuries, inconsistent performances, a flamboyant lifestyle and lack of insight into his best position, and family disputes made his time at United a less than superb one, and he finally left the club unceremoniously in 2022 when he decided against signing a new contract. Paolo Di Canio. Maybe less popular than the other footballers mentioned in this video, Paolo Di Canio is no less a villain. A highly technical and resourceful attacker, he scored more than 100 goals for different teams, and a player known for his flair for the spectacular was always in the tabloids for the wrong reasons. From a shove on a referee and an extensive 11-match ban when he was Sheffield Wednesday's best player, to fascist salutes and comments on his return to Italy for Lazio, Paolo Di Canio was loved, adored, and reviled by fans for most clubs he played for. This didn't end when he became a manager. Swindon Town lost a sponsor when he signed for them, and had a falling out with Sunderland's vice chairman when he signed on for them. When you think about football stars who are always in one controversy or the other, think of Paolo. Luis Figo. The mercurial Portuguese player was one of the greatest talents of his generation. A Ballon d'Or winner, he was bought from Sporting CP by Barcelona, and for 5 years he was a massive player in the Catalan team's attack and the heartthrob of the fans. All that ended when he joined Barcelona's arch-rivals in 2000 for a record fee of 62 million euros. The feelings of Barcelona fans changed, and he was intensely booed during any El Clasico match and missiles thrown at him. The first night back at Camp Nou, cigarettes, bottles, and even knives were thrown in his direction at the field. In his second game back at Camp Nou, the game had to be suspended for almost 20 minutes to calm the atmosphere. It was so rare for a player to have been so loved and afterwards intensely hated by the same set of fans as Figo was during his career in Spain. Just read this excerpt of an interview with one of Figo's teammates at Madrid. By the second or third corner, I turned to Figo and said, "Forget it, mate. You are on your own." Missiles were raining down from the stand, coins, a knife, and a glass whiskey bottle. Best to keep away. I mean, the vitriol was enough to make a man scared. Neymar. Magical, special, skillful, and a joy to watch. He is still one of the best players of his generation, and arguably one of the best players ever. Neymar caught the eye of all when he burst into the scene at Santos in 2011. The league's best player for 2 years was named the best young player in the world in 2011, and placed in the top 10 positions for the best players in the world while at Santos. Sooner than later, Barcelona bought him, and here in the Catalan city, he made his mark. He was loved by Barcelona fans and won numerous trophies, including league titles, domestic cups, and a Champions League title. Struggling to make his name in Messi's shadow, he left in 2017 to join the Paris Saint-Germain team. Here he was loved for a while by the ultras and fans and won a historic quadruple and got to the Champions League final, but the trophy with the big ears eluded him in the French capital, and after some time he was hated by fans in the French club. Injuries, a flamboyant lifestyle, quarrels with teammates, and more didn't help. Not the way he would have expected it all to progress. Thibaut Courtois. The tall Belgian is one of the best goalkeepers the modern game has ever seen. Breaking into the scene and winning the Belgian Pro League with Genk at 18. Chelsea bought him from Genk for 8 million euros and sent him to Atletico Madrid on loan. Here he made his mark and won the Copa del Rey, the league title, Europa League, and got to a Champions League final. Not bad for a young prospect. He came back to Chelsea and won 2 league titles and other domestic cups, but all of this ended poorly. He's seen as a traitor by Chelsea fans today and is regularly called the Snake, especially on social media. Why? After the 2018 World Cup, he handed in a transfer request, refused to train, and forced the club to sell him. Moreover, while at Madrid, he has regularly dissed his former club, claiming Madrid was his first love, and that Chelsea is a small club compared to Madrid. So as you can expect, many in West London don't love him. Kylian Mbappe. One of the best players in the world and an era-defining player. Mbappe has lived a charmed life after coming out in Monaco and having a stellar Champions League run in the 2017-2018 season. Kylian Mbappe was lured away to the French capital, where he has been ever since. Here he has won numerous domestic trophies and got into the Champions League final. A mega wage, adulation from fans, and offers from Real Madrid soon followed. A World Cup winner and highest goal scorer, Mbappe has always set the field and fans' minds on fire with love wherever he goes. But recently, poor performances by the club and his stubborn desire to join Real Madrid have turned the club ultras against him. He's no longer the beloved golden boy he once was in the French capital. The club tried to sell him off to Saudi Arabia, an offer he refused, and afterwards he was forced to train with the reserve team. Since then, he has been maligned by PSG fans, and even though a series of successful discussions with the club president means he is back in the main team, you can be sure this chapter isn't over, and it would take quite a lot for Mbappe to win back the admiration of PSG loyalists. Well, football is one of the oldest sports and the most exciting in its long history. It has been filled with many top players, eccentric characters, teams, and many of its top personalities have gone from being a hero to a villain for the team. We cannot cover them all in this video, but I hope this gives you a sneak peek into such characters if you followed us all up to the end. Remember to keep updating this page, as you can be sure that we will give you the top football content you deserve. To avoid missing anything, please subscribe and turn on your notifications to get exciting and engaging soccer news and learn more about a beautiful round leather sport.